Principles of lease negotiation. Opening a restaurant through a lease agreement. Aside from purchasing a property, another way to open a restaurant is to negotiate a new lease directly with the landlord. As explained in Chapter 1, unless you move into a space already built for restaurant use, you will face significant construction costs. This makes lease negotiation one of the most critical steps in the entire opening process. Lease negotiations are conducted through a lease proposal. LOI equals letter of intent submitted to the landlord. This document serves as a conversation tool and does not carry legal binding power. Bring the negotiation to a one-on-one discussion. When a good property appears, you must quickly decide whether to submit a proposal. If you hesitate, competitors will emerge, creating a landlord-favored situation, because the proposal is not legally binding. You can include contingencies to protect yourself. If required permits cannot be obtained, you may cancel the lease. If construction estimates exceed your budget, you may cancel the lease. Before signing the lease, investigate all concerns thoroughly. If the property doesn't meet your requirements, walk away without hesitation. This is the foundation of risk management. What contingency means? A contingency is a safety exit that allows you to cancel the agreement if certain conditions are not met. When written into the lease, contingency clause. When used during proposal stage, contingency condition. Only after receiving the landlord's response can you gauge how much concession you can extract. People often ask, how much can rent be reduced from the landlord's asking price? But rent is determined by market conditions and the landlord's circumstances. Nothing begins until you submit your proposal. If you find a property you like, act quickly. How to respond when a competitor appears. If another potential tenant enters the negotiation, the worst reaction is to panic and concede more than planned. Humans tend to desire something more when it becomes harder to obtain. But if rent becomes too high, it will strangle your business later. Stay calm and choose your strategy. Negotiate patiently over time. Or submit a proposal with a clear maximum compromise line and aim for a short, decisive negotiation. Some landlords or agents even spread false competitor information to gain leverage. Do not be misled. Understanding the landlord's interests. Lease negotiation is the process of aligning the interests of landlord and tenant. Identifying what the landlord wants is essential. Examples: landlords planning to sell the property offer long free rent, but demand high rent to increase property value. Individual landlords with limited cash prefer quick rental income over free rent. During conversation, try to gather information such as individual landlord or corporate owner, whether they intend to sell the property, their financial condition or loan status, how long the property has been on the market, how many tenants have viewed it, whether other proposals have been submitted. Landlords are not obligated to answer, but even small pieces of information can shift the negotiation in your favor. Rent is the final aggregation of all conditions. Ultimately, every condition in the lease negotiation converges into the rent. This is why working with a restaurant specialized or commercial property specialized agent is extremely valuable, using online property data. Past transaction experience, they can estimate market rent and identify the landing point during negotiation. Consult with them as the negotiation progresses. Building a win-win negotiation. Do not become overly emotional when the landlord's initial terms seem harsh. Negotiations typically take about a month, and the first round often feels like an exchange of punches. No two restaurant leases are identical. Through the tug-of-war of negotiation, both sides build trust and eventually reach mutually acceptable terms. To achieve a win-win negotiation, clarify the conditions you absolutely cannot compromise. Remain flexible with all other conditions. This is the essence of successful lease negotiation. For more videos, please like, share, and subscribe.